Hello and welcome to Bounty into Comics. My name is John Trent. I'm the founder and editor-in-chief at Bounty into Comics. Today I got a rumor that the X-Men will be showing up in the WandaVision series on Disney+, or at least one X-Men character will be. This rumor comes from Andy Signore at FandomWire, who claims, quote, "We've received confirmation that a fan-favorite X-Men character will be debuting in the MCU sooner than people realize." He goes on to claim this X-Men character will actually debut in WandaVision and that the show is setting up Marvel's multiverse. Marvel Cinematic Universe fans know the Marvel multiverse has been in existence since at least Doctor Strange and was further explored in Avengers Endgame and teased in Spider-Man Far From Home. Nevertheless, New York claims that Quicksilver will be showing up in WandaVision. To sweeten the rumor, he claims that it won't be the version played by Aaron Taylor Johnson, who died in Avengers Age of Ultron. No, this version will be played by Evan Peters, who played the character in X-Men Days of Future Past, X-Men Apocalypse, and X-Men Dark Phoenix. Signore did not have any details about Peters' version of Quicksilver and whether or not he's playing the same character from the X-Men films. This is what he said: "We couldn't get any more specifics yet as to how or why his Quicksilver becomes involved. So the implication is that he is playing the same character from the X-Men films, but he's not 100% clear on that, so I'll leave that up to your interpretation, whether or not we're actually getting the same character from those X-Men films." As Signore notes in his coverage, Peters was rumored to be cast in WandaVision back in June 2020. That rumor came from Charles Murphy at Murphy's Multiverse, who detailed, quote, "I have learned that Evan Peters signed on for a key role in the Marvel Studios Disney Plus streaming series WandaVision. In Murphy's initial scoop, he did not reveal who Peters could be playing, but left the door open, writing, quote, Peters could be playing anyone from Nicholas Scratch to Mephisto. He also seemed to downplay the idea that Peters would return as Quicksilver, claiming the waters would seem to get muddy quickly should Peters be reprising his role as Pietro and then crossing over into the MCU. However, he did leave that option open, writing, Peters would be an interesting choice, given the majority of fans seem to gravitate towards his portrayal of the character. And I think that's 100% true. I think the way Peters' character is written is far superior to the one written for Age of Ultron. He's in one of the greatest comic book scenes ever, where they're breaking out of the Pentagon. Then you get the follow-up in the Apocalypse film, where he's saving the kids from the school. So you get some really good scenes with Quicksilver. I also find his character much more interesting. He's not focused on revenge and part of being experimented by Hydra and working with Ultron. He's instead figuring out what's going on with these X-Men and then playing dumb, like he's not actually interested in what they're doing. So I thought that was just a much more interesting character arc that they gave him than the one in Age of Ultron. What might throw a wrench into this rumor are Kevin Feige's recent comments about when the X-Men might arrive in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. While promoting WandaVision, he spoke with Collider and told them that it might be 5 to 6 years before the X-Men show up. He said, quote, "To varying degrees of specificity, it's always about 5 to 6 years out versus what we've announced. So whatever that takes us to." As for how they might introduce mutants in the X-Men into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Feige stated, "It has been heavily discussed, as you might imagine, and we have a good feeling of where it's going and when it's going, but that all remains to be seen." So Feige might be playing a little bit coy here. We do know that they don't always announce stuff that might be coming out sooner rather than later. Perfect example is the Book of Boba Fett. That was not announced during the Disney Investor Day 2020 presentation. With all of the other Star Wars shows, it was announced at the end of The Mandalorian. So it's possible that Feige might be saving the X-Men for maybe a stinger scene at the end of WandaVision. If this rumor that Quicksilver is showing up, you would think that we might be getting more X-Men. So you might get a stinger scene. I'm just speculating here, we might get a stinger scene at the end of WandaVision, hinting at the X-Men. We do know that Deadpool 3 is happening, and we know he interacts with the X-Men, so we know the X-Men might be coming through Deadpool 3 quicker than what an X-Men movie might be coming. And we also have a ton of rumors that mutants are going to be showing up throughout the Marvel Cinematic Universe in a number of films and projects, ranging from Shang-Chi to the Eternals. So there's lots of stuff happening there, and then Feige left the door wide open for any kind of number of characters showing up in She-Hulk. The latest rumor for that is that X-Men foe Juggernaut is going to be showing up and that he is going to be a mutant, unlike his comic book depiction. I would not be surprised if the X-Men show up sooner rather than later. The Marvel Phase 4 stuff looks absolutely atrocious, and the initial reactions to WandaVision are not looking good. So if Feige really wants to keep the MCU money train going, you would think you would want to embrace probably your number 1 or number 2 property that you own, and that is the X-Men, arguably with Spider-Man. The X-Men have always kind of been the top tier at Marvel. I would say they probably only were reduced in status because of the MCU exploding without the X-Men, but I guarantee if the X-Men were part of the MCU initially, they would have been bigger than a lot of the characters that have kind of taken prominence in the MCU so far. So that's all I have to say. My name is John Trent, and you've been watching Bounding Into Comics. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment below.